Williams taking it to the outside. Williams hurdling and down guard. Jamie Nails. Watch number 66. There he is. You can't miss him. He just gets right over the top of Mike Peterson, creates a nice running lane for Ricky Williams. I'm sure he's going to take Nails out to dinner. Remember, this has to come up big. Handoff, Ricky Williams. They haven't been able to stop him today. Ring very high. A couple of fakes in the screen to Ricky Williams. The blockers in front of it. 25, 30, out to the front. Ricky Williams. Good ball up the middle. Inside. Williams. That's the first down. And then some. The breaking tackle to the 16-yard line and a first down. But you hear it? If you're sitting at home, if you're a Jets fan, that was not a good sound. A lot of solid blocks up front. Robert Conrad just gets a flushing, a good block on Mo Lewis. Ricky Williams. Pretty powerful. Thank you. On 2nd and 7, Williams, right side. Cuts it back across the 20. Ricky Williams. And with that run, he's over 100 yards, and boy, a lot more. Look at him go. 20, and touchdown.
And I want to welcome everybody to this edition of the Late Night Buzz. I am Branded, and I'm here with a good show like every night, always. I want to thank all the people out there listening worldwide throughout not just the United States, but the entire globe. And a show is a good show that's planned, and my guest that I have right here, just watching this man's career. And, you know, I was going back and I was checking out some stats of my guest right here, and I'm like, man, this guy in his career, like over 10,000 yards rushing. You know, he had one amazing season in 2002 where he rushed for over 1,800 yards, and you know he's doing some real life stuff as well. And I got to make sure that I give my my football props and my life grind props to my man Ricky Williams, who is here on the Late Night Buzz. Mr. Williams, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, and you know, I got a lot of questions, and, you know, some of it's kind of catered to sports and stuff like that, but I want to start off a little different because, of course, when I always look at, you know, just, you know, I was hearing a lot of your clips, and I was just kind of looking at a lot of, man, I know you probably get a lot of this, but real quick, just, you know, real similar to Earl Campbell, in my opinion, as far as just, I mean, nobody, man, if I was a defensive dude, I would have been scared to try to take you down, bro. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's what it was like in, you know, the first couple years of my career, the time I spent in New Orleans, and when I got to Miami, you know, kind of a throwback player. You know, I love the game. I love playing physical football. I love intimidating the defense. And I love running the football, so it was fun.
A lot of reminiscences, like a lot of styles. He was a powerful guy, and you know, I know we're gonna talk about sports in a minute, but I just had to throw that out there because, you know, watching you run, just even watching you on TV run, man, I was like, man, I would even be scared to try to at least try to make a tackle on you. So, you know, just, you know, for over 10,000 yards, man, in your career, that's nothing to sneeze at. So I got to tell you, props on that. Props on that.
I appreciate that.
But let's talk about your foundation, because your foundation, and as much as that I've seen you be so proactive in it, and I know you got your team helping you out as well, talk about the Ricky Williams Foundation and how is that helping change a lot of lives?
You know, it's one of those things that back in 1999 when I was a rookie, I started my foundation. And I have to admit, when I first did it, you know, I've always been the kind of person that desired to give back. And so when I was a rookie, I just did it because that's kind of what you're supposed to do, you know, when you make it big and famous is start a foundation and give back. And so I made it, but at the time, I didn't really know, like, what I wanted to do or how I wanted to give back. And so, you know, people would send me stuff, you know, asking for money. And one of the things that I started to be aware of was that I love kids. And so, you know, and I love giving. there's something about giving that just made me feel really good. And so people would come and ask, and if I liked the program, when I moved to Miami, this lady who was running a school, she had gotten some trouble with the IRS, and she needed money to pay her taxes, or they were going to take the school away. And so,
wow.
Loving education, this woman was just a really good woman. So, I mean, and I'm not bragging, but just to show, the kind of person I am is, I just met this lady, and over a year, I think I ended up giving her about $150,000 to get even on taxes, and then to like build the school into something that she could be proud of. And so,
wow.
I've always been one to want to support people that are trying to do something different, that they're trying to make it in the world. And I just look at my life and growing up, and there's always people there that believed in me and that supported me. And without those people, I wouldn't be where I am. And so that's what I want to be for other people. And I do it with money. And now, as I've had some experience in life, and I've seen the world, and I've seen a whole bunch of stuff, and I've really worked on myself like so hard and very intensely that I'm a man of the world. I'm a wise man now, and so to be able to share wisdom to people who are willing to listen, because a lot of us go out there and we try to share wisdom to everybody, but
right.
Everybody doesn't desire that, and so the kids that I work with. I just try to show them that I don't want anything from them, and I'm just here, and I have their back. And like I said, just knowing people have my back throughout my whole life has been such a blessing. I just want to be that for other people.
And I think that's important. And what you just said is important also, because in a world where there is so chaotic, and the hottest news is the news that's filled with drama and stuff that's non-positive, it's always good to be able to see that you can be able to reach out and change somebody else's life for the better. And what you said also was important too, Ricky, on a sense that as far as you helping out, not just financially, but I'm going to actually talk to you about just some of the the physical and mental and emotional stuff that you actually help kids or people that's at risk. You got to be right yourself. So in order for you to say, hey, you know what, I'm confident in myself to be able to deliver all these things that I can to the people that I'm trying to help, it's pretty big.
You know what? Listening to you say that, I think one of the reasons that I really, been working on myself so hard is for that reason, because I know there's some things that in the world that I see that don't work that
right.
I'd like to change. Just going through my life, and even being a professional football player and having the money and having all that stuff, still, this world, it wasn't built to support us. You know what I mean? It's like it's more built for us to try to find a way to fit in. And so, for me, I look at my legacy, and yeah, there's 10,000 yards and all that stuff. But to me, my legacy is that I did it. Like that was a Frank Sinatra song. I did it my way. And I don't mean that in a pompous, and I don't mean that in a pompous way. I just mean like I didn't have to sell out. I didn't have to sell my soul. I got to be me, and still have success. And I think a lot of people buy that they have to be somebody else, or they have
right.
to be fake. They have to have an image in order to be successful. But to me, I was myself, and I was successful.
And that's real big. And that's real big, Ricky, because. Explain a little bit, without going into a lot of people's personal details, as far as, some of the people that you've helped out, not just on a financial, but also on a at-risk level, as far as, emotionally, people that's suffering from low self-esteem. Talk to the listeners about some of the things that you've encountered while you're, knee-deep into your foundation.
Okay, yeah, and so, I did a camp last year, and I had some friends. One of my mentors, he said he encouraged me to do a camp, so I called it a life skills boot camp. And I had about 20 kids, and I had them all day for 4 days. And it was me, and I had like a couple of my boys came to help out. But really, it was just me, and just being with the kids and talking to them about life. And this is a general example, but talking to them about life, and you realize that for a lot of these kids, no one's ever talked to them before. You know what I mean? People have talked at them, and people, but no one has really talked to them. And so it was amazing to me to see how like, it was, so the first day, I walk outside, and the kids are outside playing. And I start walking towards the playground. And I start to notice, as I move towards the playground, the kids start to get quieter and quieter and quieter. And then when I got to the playground, the kids were quiet, kind of looking around. And I started talking to them, but they were kind of shut down, and they didn't really want to talk to me. And so I just said, okay, and I started walking away. And I noticed as I walked away, and I got further and further and further away, they started to get chatty and loud and, like, expressive. And I kind of sat there, and I was like, wow, these kids just shut down whenever adults are around. And so I walked over to them, and I asked them about it. I said, you know, so what's going on? I said, what is that? And I made fun of them. I started laughing. I said, are you guys allergic to me or something? I said, I walk over here, everybody gets all quiet, and then I walk away, and then everyone gets all loud, and they started to laugh. And so over the course of these 4 days, just to watch these kids and to see, like, their protection, their walls, and their barriers come down, and they just finally got a chance to be themselves. And you know, for me, it touched me in such a way that, you know, it just was amazing to see these kids being expressive and smiling and being happy. It was amazing.
I think that's important with kids in a self-esteem standpoint, and even dealing with adults. Because, like you said, I mean, I don't know about you, Ricky, but I grew up in that kind of span as I, you know, growing into being a kid to a, you know, preteen to a young adult. Like it's a big difference when grown-ups or, you know, people that's your peers talk to you instead of talk at you. I mean, you know, and it transfers to, you know, life itself too, even as an adult. I mean, I'd rather an adult or a wife or a family member talk to me instead of talk at me, because you get the complete opposite when someone talks at you.
Yeah. You know, and what I realized is what I realized ultimately, it seems like people just want to be heard, you know?
Right.
People just want to be received, and then, like, I'm telling you, like, magic happens when people really show up like that, and and that's really been to me. I look at the biggest gift of my life is what football has enabled me to do. It's given me a platform to change people's lives, and and that's priceless. That's priceless.
I mean, you know, especially like you said earlier about, you know, the 10,000 yards and, you know, you being who you are as far as an athlete. Your real, I mean, that's a platform, but your real goal was to be able to give to the world not just your physical talents, but also you showing that there can be ways that you can be able to be there for others on a you know, spiritual connection or an emotional connection as well. So even the physical part as far as helping out in your foundation too. Like, I mean, what do you do with just the people in your foundation? I hear a little bit about yoga training or something like that. Is that true?
No, I mean, you know, so one of the things, so I had an after-school program, and we had volunteers that would take care of the after-school program. But the cool thing was, I met this principal, and she really liked what I was doing, and so she gave me a classroom, and she gave me 50 of her kids. And so we got to create our own programs. And so, you know, me and one of my best friends got together, and we just took experiences from our lives, and we created, you know, sort of like a curriculum, you know, or a schedule for these kids. And so we did a little sports, you know, we did a little conversation, you know, just simple. How was your day? You know,
right.
And we talked to them about, you know, because these kids I work with, you know, they live in Austin, Texas, and most of them have never really been outside of like a 5-mile radius. You know, and Austin is one of the most amazing cities I've ever been to, and I've traveled around the world. It's just interesting to me that these kids that live in this town don't really have access to all the wonderful things in Austin. So we try to take the kids on field trips. We just try to show them. We try to show them something different, you know, because these kids see something different, and sometimes it resonates with them. You know, when I was a kid, you know, I was like in a classroom with people that had money, and I tested well, and so when I would go to their houses after school, you know, I would see that they were living much nicer than I was, and I liked it, you know, and so I was like, you know, Whatever I do, like,
I want to get that. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna have that in my house. And it helps. You know, it contributed. Like,
right.
You know, for me, one of the things I desired is having a good life. And you know, when I talk to people, yeah, it's important to be there for other people, but the most important person is to be there for is yourself. And one of the things, you know, that I found in life is happiness is my number one priority. My number one priority.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And see, you and I are not. You know, we're very similar, because when you say you used to go into, you know, friend's house and you used to see certain things they have, and you was like, you know what, I want to get that. My whole thing was kind of the same in a sense, because, you know, when, you know, one of my good friends, I mean, not just the house or whatever, like, you know, as I grew up, you know, early teens, like, you know, he was the first one in our block that knew how to drive, and he took the steps and the proper steps to be able to do that. So not, you know, being inspired by that, I did exactly what I could do and flip it and try to do a little bit better. So I'm saying that just to say it's not just the material accomplishments, it's just knowing that you can actually, you know what, that's a goal for me to shoot for, and I'm going to do it. Like, you feel where I'm coming from,
exactly.
Huh? Yeah.
You know, and people, you know, I did the whole spiritual thing. I did it intensely. And you know, there's this thing where people think that material possessions are important. And to me, I like nice things. You know, I can sleep in a tent. I can sleep in a hut, and I can be comfortable. And I still like nice things. You know, it feels good to put on my Gucci loafers. You know, it feels good to walk through the airport with my Louis bag. You know,
there you go.
It feels good. Yeah.
And let me ask you this: it feels good not just because it looks good, but it also, like, you know, it's certain accomplishments that comes with being able to, you know, spoil yourself. And you know what? Hey, you know what? Today I deserve those Louis, you know, Gucci slippers, or, you know, the Louis luggage or whatever, right?
Yes. Exactly.
I got you.
You know,
I got you. Ricky Williams is our guest on the Late Night Buzz, and one of your mantras is be better today than yesterday. Let the listeners know a little bit of the inspiration that came from that mantra as well.
All right, so I used to have a coach in college, and he used to always give us quotes. And one of his favorite quotes was, "You're either green and growing, or you're ripe and rotten. You never stay the same." So for me, it's true. It's like, you know, it's those times where you have a real good day and you kind of like rest on your laurels and say, okay,
no doubt,
I'm good. And then things start falling apart. As soon as you say that, things start falling apart. So it's just this place where I wake up every morning and I desire to be better, because I know if I'm not moving forward, I'm moving backward. And it's nothing like, I don't beat myself up about it. It's just an awareness. And I still stop. And sometimes I still stop. And I stop and things start falling apart, and then I say, "Oh, okay, let's get up and keep on going." And so it's just really an awareness of how the universe works. You know, like there's infinite amount of information, there's infinite amount of everything for us to go out there and get. You know, and when I was young, I used to always think that there'd be a time where I'd have enough money, or I'd have enough friends, or I'd have enough something. But then I realized, you know, nothing is ever enough for me. It's enough for 10 seconds, and I'm ready to do something else.
Right.
Something like winning a Heisman Trophy. By the time I won a Heisman Trophy, I already know I won it, and so I was like, what's next?
What's the next mission to accomplish? And I mean, and I'm telling you, man, that's always inspiring, and people like myself, and I know a lot of listeners out there, and people that's fans of yours, and people tuning in for the first time, whatever the case may be, like, you know, they can hear you and be like, wow, like, you know, we need more people out there like that. And granted, there is a lot of, you know, there's only one Ricky Williams. Let's just keep it real. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of other people that do try to help others as well. But let me ask you, why is it such a very, very good thing that doesn't get heard as much as it should in this society that we live in today?
Well, that's a good question. But if you look at the nature of society, you see that most things in society are built around about control. And
right.
So, you know, we pretend that society has our back, or that the government has our back, but do they really? No. And so And so when there's something that's empowering people, you know, it's not popular right now. And
right.
you know, that's one of the things that I'd like to see change.
Okay.
It's true. I mean, you know,
I agree.
You think it starts like when we're kids, you know. It's like, and I'm a parent, so I know, like the parents get afraid the kids are going to hurt themselves or they're going to mess something up. And so it's all about trying to lie to the kid or trick the kid or try to control the kid so you don't have to worry about it. And, you know, we learned that at a young age.
Yep.
You know, unfortunately, most people live their lives like that.
And
so
we're roughly
really ask people.
Yeah. And Ricky, we're roughly around the same age, so, you know, I feel like I can ask you this since we kind of grew up together, but, you know, not in the same, you know, in the same state or whatnot. We kind of grew up together or whatnot. So my question is simple. Like,
Where'd you grow up?
In California, in the Bay Area.
I grew up in San Diego.
Yeah, you're down there in Southern California where, you know, the weather's always nice in California. So I was going to say it's always good out there when you're in San Diego towards L.A., but in the Bay it's always good too, though. It's always good too.
It's
but
beautiful. The Bay is beautiful. The water is nice.
No doubt. And as we grow up, man, like when you know, as we grew up, there was so many, I guess you could say, people outside of your family, like the next door neighbors, the parents of another kid looking out for you. If you did something wrong, they would knock on your door and tell your parents, or, you know, all that stuff. As we grew up during that era. So now here we are, 2013, it's a whole different deal, and that kind of village to raise a child kind of mentality kind of went away. For somebody that has grew up, I'm sure in that sense, like, you know, what is your opinion on exactly what happened?
Well, I mean, to me, if you look at it, like it's a village. A village is raising our kids, but that village is the internet. You know.
True. True that.
It's the iPad. It's electronic.
That's real. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Like my kids, they sit on an iPad all day long. All day long on that iPad.
Have you? I took my daughter to a ranch. It was actually like a school field trip one year, and, you know, of course, no internet, no Game Boys, well, not Game Boys, but no whatever, Nintendo, whatever, none of that stuff. It was just, you know, cows and everything, and, you know, potato sack races and stuff like that. So, you know, when that was actually being done, like, the kids had so much fun doing that, and they weren't even thinking about no electronics or nothing like that. But sometimes I kind of feel we need to take those kids out of that element just so they can be able to embrace other things.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. Definitely.
And I just kind of feel like that's you know, that's important. So, you know, like I said, is Ricky Williams our guest on the Late Night Buzz. You being out there and really trying to help these kids, just trying to build confidence and stuff like that. I mean, that we need more of that, not just from you, but from others, and I definitely commend that. So you definitely got to get props on that. And let me ask you about you recently joined the ESPN family or something like that, or you're going to be doing
I started last year. Last year. You know, last year they asked me to come out and do some stuff on the pregame show. And it started off as like a guest host, guest analyst, and then they liked me, and so I came back. I did, I think, 4 or 5 more games last year. I did some stuff in the off season with them, and they liked me so much they asked me to do all the games this year. And so I said, yeah, it's a good deal.
So a lot of people are going to be seeing you a little bit more, because I remember, like, a few times I've seen you. I was like, okay, cool. They got Ricky as a guest, and now you're back full force, right? So it's going to be a good look. So everybody could be able to see you on ESPN this coming up football season.
Yeah.
That is what's up. Congratulations.
Yeah,
it was your charisma and your football knowledge and just that $1 million smile that won it over, huh?
Yeah, and also it's ESPN. They have a network just for University of Texas, and so the fact that I won the Heisman Trophy here, you know, it works. It fits.
That helps, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Very good, very good. So when you look at this NFL season coming up, and of course, I'm just going to go ahead and start with all the other baggage that has taken place with 31 some odd people that's been arrested for one thing or another. I mean, do you feel like the NFL needs a little bit more? I know they got symposiums, and I know they got other mentors, I guess you could say, to kind of help out. But do you kind of feel the NFL is kind of at a on that uneven balance, I guess you could say, as far as trying to be able to build some credibility as far as the players?
Well, I mean, I understand the NFL wants to build credibility because of the TV deals and the fan base, and it's important to maintain a good image. But sometimes people forget the nature of the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been funny to me how people say people look at football players as role models. And to me, I look at parents, and I'm in a locker room. I'm a football player, and so I look at parents and I say, do you really want your kids to be like these guys? And so it's a rough game, and not everybody can play the game, and it takes a special kind of person. And I think if you look at the NFL since the beginning of the NFL, I think if really they were paying this close attention, and the media was this way, it would be probably 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's more of the day and age that it's a media day and age, Like I remember one day I got a ticket, and it was on the feed, and it was on the front page the next day. So like some people get arrested or whatever, no one knows, and they're at work the next day, and nobody even knows. But when we get arrested, it's at the front page of the newspaper. And so I think if you went to any job or any corporation or any business big as the NFL, and you took the same kind of stats, it would be either the same or it might even be worse.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting from a fan of football from a standpoint. I just feel like I don't think the NFL itself needs an overhaul, and I'm speaking as a fan first. I mean, I just think there's just like you said, just a handful of people that just make wrong decisions in certain cases. But there's a lot of other people that do just fine, that lives very, very good and doing well for other people and stuff like that, but they never get the kind of credibility or they never get put in the spotlight. But all the other people that do wrong does.
In the good old days, and the way it should be, and it's like this in some towns, the way it should be is, you have an agreement with the police station, with the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
If you pull over one of our players drinking, out drinking, take him home. You tell the coach, but you don't have to embarrass the city. You don't have to embarrass the town. You don't have to. Like when I was in New Orleans, that's one of the things I loved about it. Like me and the sheriff were friends, and he had my back, and I had his back, and so it was fun. And I mean, to me, a football team brings so much energy and so much money to a town. The town, I think owes it to the team to take care of its football players.
Yeah,
and I don't mean turn a blind eye if someone's doing something dangerous, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just work as a team.
Yeah. See, you said you quickly said good old days, and when you told that story, what I started thinking? I started thinking about old Mayberry, Andy Griffin show. Hey.
Yeah.
They had old guy. They put him. They locked him up just for until he sobered up or whatever, and then sent him on his way. So exactly. The good old days. Yep. Exactly. I got you.
Exactly.
What I'm gonna do before I let you go is I'm gonna have you quickly run down a couple of things on your former team and give us your opinion as far as the expectations. And I'm gonna start with the last team that you played for, the Ravens, Super Bowl champs. They lost a lot of people in the off season. Where do you see them standing? Is this going to be a rebuilding year for them?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting year. Coach Harbaugh is an excellent coach, and he was one game away from the Super Bowl, and then he made it to the Super Bowl, and he's been to the playoffs, for the last 6 years or something. So, he got the Super Bowl, and I think for him he enjoys the challenge. He's got some stalwarts. He's got a quarterback. He's got some receivers. He's got an O-line. got a heck of a running back. He's got a quarterback. Defense, he still has T-Sizzle coming off that edge, and the way they coach and the way they bring talent in, they always have somebody. That defense always has somebody you never heard of that shows up. And Ray's gone, and it's going to be interesting to see who takes over the leadership on the defense and really on the team.
Yep.
But I think Ray left a legacy. He left an imprint on that organization, and so I'm excited to see how they play this year.
Running game, they still have Ray Rice, and a lot of people see this as a rebuilding year. Me personally, I still think they can make the playoffs. I mean, I know the AFC is stacked as well, but it's going to be interesting to see how the champs. I kind of hate the fact that they got to go on the road for their first game of the year. But I guess we could blame the Baltimore Orioles for that, though. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
What about your first team that you started off with, the Saints? What do you think they're going to do with their coach returning for a full season after his suspension?
They're always dangerous. Even when they struggle, they put up 50 points. So with Drew Brees, and for them, it's just really finding a defensive scheme that works for them. And they got Rob Ryan, as defensive coordinator, I think, and so they're going to do some exotic stuff on defense. If they can get some, because when they won the Super Bowl, we played them, and they were incredible on offense, and they got a lot of turnovers on defense. They blitzed you every play almost. So if they can find a scheme on defense that can make big plays, they're always going to be tough. Always going to be tough.
You hit the nail on the head about big plays on defense, because they're always game to make big plays on offense. So the defense is going to have to hold court, unless it's going to be a lot of 45 to 42 losses or whatever in some cases. So Saints, we shall see. And the team that you had the longest tenure with was the Dolphins. How do you see them stacking up in the AFC East now with, a lot of people saying the Patriots are coming back down a little bit with all their key losses, and, it's kind of wide open to some people's opinions, but what about the Dolphins and where they stand?
One thing about the Dolphins, they always play the division tough. They always play the dangerous stuff, always. And so they really like that young quarterback, and I saw flashes last year. They can find somewhat of a running game, and if Mike Wallace can pan out the way they think he is, and they always play good defense. They lost a couple key players on defense, but their defense has been staunch for the past couple of years, and so it's all with the Dolphins, it's always a question mark. Always a question mark.
Yeah, no doubt.
They play so hard. They play so hard, and somehow it either goes their way or it doesn't. And unfortunately, these past couple of years, there was like 2 years in a row that I was on the team, and going into the last 4 games, it's like if we won one game, pretty much we're in the playoffs, and we would lose all the games every time. So they get so close, and I just hope this is a year that they can really turn the corner.
And at least make the playoffs, or come close, or come close to winning a division or something like that. So, like you said,
in that division, you got to win the division. You got to win the division.
Yeah, because it'd be rough for you to win any kind of playoff, wild card, whatever. So, yeah, I agree. Early Super Bowl prediction, or you want to wait and table that and wait till people check you out on ESPN to get that?
I mean, I'm doing college football, so I can talk about this. So, I like the Texans. It seems like the Texans always get on the doorstep, and they look, they look amazing throughout the season. But I'm curious to see if they can get over the hump.
Okay.
They play hard.
They got a rough schedule this year to a certain point. So yeah, it's going. I would love to see. There's always going to be a team that's going to that sucked last year that's going to come out and surprise a lot of people. So on the tech.
Carolina.
Yeah, true. I agree. Yeah. They're due for something better because their year last year was not good, man, whatsoever. So they're due for something positive, right?
And they finished strong.
They did. You're right. People can check out Ricky Williams on Twitter. If you go follow this guy right now, like I did, at Ricky Williams, and RickyWilliamsAccessingYou.com is still available and active for people to check out, right, for a lot of information and stuff regarding everything that you're doing too, correct?
Yep, that's the way to find me. And I'm on Facebook,
Perfect.
Ricky Williams, number 34, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, all you got to do is Google this man, and you'll see everything you need to see because, the guy's wide open, not just career-wise, but, I mean, I can't wait to check you out on ESPN, on the college football joints. I'm looking forward to, seeing you get down, and I appreciate you taking the time out and hanging out with us. And like I said, man, as a fan of football, I just looked at you, and I was like, you know what, that's Earl Campbell, too, part 2. You know what I mean? Like, that's part 2 of Earl Campbell.
My nickname in college was Baby Earl.
For real? See? Okay, there you go. I mean, a tremendous NFL career. Like I said, over 10,000 yards, and just, a lot of highlights for a lot of fans of football to appreciate. And not only do we appreciate that, we appreciate everything that you are doing outside of football and helping out these young kids and continue to be an inspiration. Because, like you said, I mean, role models, that's a little tricky. But I want to throw the inspiration card out there because, to me, I think, what you do and how you've handled yourself and your career and what you're doing now is definitely inspiring. So continue to keep doing that and blessing everybody with the hard work, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, appreciate it. That is NFL great Ricky Williams, and we will be back.